Is real estate an alternative investment? Well, the answer is yes. But what does that really mean? Let's talk about that in this video right now and what that can mean for your freedom too. All right, so you're probably wondering, is real estate an alternative investment? Is it alternative? Is it not? What is an alternative investment in the first place, right? You're probably wondering all these things. I want to really address in that video, like, what is that really for real estate? Is it an alternative investment? And as an alternative investment, how do you use it to create quick financial freedom now? I don't mean overnight success, no, pie in the sky thing, but how do you actually create financial freedom by using real estate in your portfolio? That's what I'm going to answer today. All right, so first and foremost, what is an alternative investment? Alternative investment is basically anything outside of typical Wall Street. Wall Street's the things that you usually get from a financial advisor. Stocks, bonds, money market accounts, right? Even the things you get at banks, CDs and whatnot. All those things are more Wall Street investments. Alternative investments is anything outside of it. Yes, that's real estate. Real estate is an alternative investment. So if you're wondering, is real estate an alternative investment? Yes, of course it is. But it's also things like crypto. Crypto is also an alternative investment. If you ever have a business that you invest in, that's an alternative investment. Oil and gas, alternative investment. Anything outside the purview of what a financial advisor offers is alternative investment. And just so you know, guys, it's better. Even better than Wall Street. Now, of course, there's advantages to Wall Street too. I used to be a financial advisor myself. I know it. And I know a lot of these financial advisors, they got good hearts. They mean well. But I will tell you this from personal experience as having been a financial advisor. I will tell you this, is that when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. When you look at the world of investing, all you can see as a financial advisor is really what pays me. What am I allowed to sell you, which is only mutual funds. I'll tell you, even when I was securities licensed, I was actually securities licensed up until 2005. And when I had that license, if I try to talk about other investment options, even alternative investment options, they would shut it down. They're like, no, you cannot talk about that. You are only licensed to talk about stocks and bonds. That's it, mutual funds. Sell that. And so they would always rein me back in and say, this is where your lane is. Stay away from this stuff. And of course, I would have proof to show people that you shouldn't put money in alternative investments like real estate anyways. I would pull out my big old long-term chart. You've seen it. If you met with a financial advisor, they show those charts, right? You put $1 in 1928, and that dollar is worth like $15, $20 today. But if you put that dollar in a stock market, you have like $5 billion today, right? It's something like that. Oh, in real estate, you put $1 in, it's like $100, nothing big. They would tell you that kind of stuff, right? I was that guy. See, you're gonna say, look, you make way more money in the stock market. Yeah, so in real estate, so do the stock market. I remember even my brother-in-law, I remember sitting down with him, and he came from a wealthy family. He knew more about business and even some investing too. And so I remember I got my suit all dry cleaned and nice and pretty because he was coming from an affluent family. I remember I spent hours working on a presentation for him. And then I even got a guy from my office to back me up because I knew two guys on one, I double team him, this guy's gonna invest with me. And so I sit down, I get this presentation, I'm all done, and he says, okay, Chris, so let me get this right. If I give you $10,000 today, you're saying you might be able to make me 12% a year or $1,200 in a year, is that right? I said, well, I can't guarantee anything, but yeah, historically speaking, in the past, you would make 12% in the stock market, which by the way, I found out later, that wasn't even a true number either. But that's what I said. I was like, but I can't promise anything. You can never guarantee future, nothing's guaranteed. He's like, okay, Chris, so okay, $1,200 in a year. But Chris, I can pay $10,000, put it into a down payment on a semi-truck in my business, and then turn around and sell it a few months later and make $20,000 of profit. So I can make $20,000 in a few months versus maybe $1,200 in a year with you. Why would I invest my money with you? Well, you should be diversified. You shouldn't pull your eggs in that one business basket. You should put it in the mutual funds. You should put it where I get paid, dang it. That's where you should put it. That's what I didn't say. That's what I should have said if I were really being honest. And so I was upset. I was like, well, he didn't invest with me. Why not? Like he said he'd make all this money in business. And I remember asking other financial advisors, even the guy that dealt with the most affluent people, he's like, I don't have an answer for you either. That's a good answer from his part. And I was like, oh, but they should be diversified. They should put money with me. And that's the problem, guys, is that financial advisors, even though I was in this place where I wanted to help people too, obviously, if they're going to do other stuff, I can't do anything with that, and I don't get paid to give them that advice. If I want to get paid for advice, they have to invest money with me. Get it? So this is why you haven't been taught about alternative investments. I actually like to call alternative investments Main Street investing, because the truth is, people have been buying and selling real estate for thousands of years. How long have people been putting money in the stock market? Not long at all. Not that long. Maybe a couple hundred years at most, but that's it. It's just not the same thing. But people have been doing buying and selling in businesses, they've been doing real estate, they've been doing all these things really for a lot of years. And yet we still say that the best way to invest is to put it in the place that's been less proven for the last couple hundred years, Wall Street. Alternative investments are much better. This is why I like to invest in alternative investments. And the reason I like real estate as an alternative investment is because real estate is backed by a real asset. Real estate over time holds its value. Yes, it can go up and down. We saw that in 2008, didn't we? But it's so rare. In most recessions, real estate does not drop. It either stays the same or even increases in the middle of a recession. Even depressions too. It can actually do that. So it's so rare to see real estate drop. But stocks drop a lot. Now, if you've only been investing for 10 or 15 years, you've hardly even seen the stock market drop because it's done this amazingly unrealistic thing, which is 14 years up in the last 15 years. Most of the time, stock market's only up 10 or 11 years for every 15 years. That means it's down 4 or 5 years out of those 15. We're way higher than we should be in the stock market right now. But as a result, people are like, oh, well, I don't need anything else. This is the answer. This is the way, right? Just to quote your Mandalorian fans there, your Star Wars fans. This is not the way, guys. The way that I've loved, and it's actually worked for me to get early retirement, has been in doing alternative investments, like real estate investing. And guys, real estate investments is not just buying the property next door. Real estate investments are things where you could buy a property, but what if you didn't have to manage that property? What if somebody else managed the property for you? What if you instead lent money to real estate investors that know what they're doing and give it to them, assuming they're trustworthy, good individuals, right, or companies that you're doing this with, give them the money and then they pay you a return. And often, by the way, those returns are often double-digit returns, 10% or more. Again, no guarantees, I'm not giving investment advice, and you could lose your money anytime, especially if you do it poorly. Or if the market blows up, something could happen. But I'll tell you, in my experience over the last 23 years now of being in this industry and doing my own investing with real estate, which I love, and even having hundreds of other people do the same thing, the one thing we've consistently seen over and over and over is that real estate pays out, and it can pay handsomely. For example, I'll tell you, like one thing that I look at a lot of times is I look at the history of the stock market compared to the history of my real estate. And if you look back over 6 years ago, like when I bought one of my rental homes in Memphis, Tennessee, I bought that with $32,000 down payment. Now, if I had taken that $32,000 and put it in the stock market, I would have about $65,000 today. My money would have more than doubled in just 6 years. That's not bad, considering the stock market's done way better than it usually does. But that's pretty amazing, isn't it? But understand that my real estate property, it wasn't just about the appreciation, although that helped. Because remember, I put a $32,000 down payment. I got a mortgage for the rest. Now, I also have a renter in there. I didn't find the renter, my property management company did. And then that renter has been paying down my mortgage for me. So even if the property stays the same value, my mortgage balance is going down because they're paying it for me. So I'm building equity in that property regardless. So that I get at least a few $1,000s a year of gained equity without appreciation. On top of that, I'm still making about $8,000 a year from just the rent payments coming in. So already between those two things, I'm making about $10,000 a year on $32,000. Guys, that's over a 30% rate of return. Do the math, right? But here's what's cooler, guys, is that that property also appreciated over $100,000 since I bought it. So not only have I been making, now getting up to like, I'm gaining $10,000 a year between equity and cash flow, but I also made over $100,000 in gains from appreciation. As a result, guys, I've made about a 400% rate of return in 6 years. Yes, all disclaimers, results may vary. It doesn't mean it's gonna happen. Anything can happen. You could lose money, you can make money, you could do better, you could do worse. Yeah, we get all this, right? And just so you know, the market also doesn't usually do that well, and real estate doesn't always do that well. So just understand that, yeah, I had a good time, but that's also during a good time when there was a big bubble, when stocks inflated more than they usually do, and so did real estate. But man, still, 100% versus my 400%, I've made quadruple the money by having my money in real estate versus stocks, and I have a real asset. I can't say the same thing with the stock market. If it drops, I have no say in the matter. I can't do anything about it. With real estate, the way it drops would be, yeah, there could be a loss of value. That's possible. It doesn't happen very often in history, but it can happen. Or two, the renter stops paying. Well, the renter stops paying, we evict them, we get a new renter in. Or if I just say, you know what, I'm done, let's just sell it. We evict the renter, and then we get out, we sell it, get our money back, and I can invest in more real estate and buy more properties and make more cash flow than what I'm making right now. And that's the thing that I've seen over and over and over. I had one client that, he's a guy from California. He only had like $250,000 to invest. Not a ton of money, but a decent amount. And with that $250,000, he had it all in the stock market. Well, 6 years ago, 2019, he came to us, actually 5 years ago, 2019, came to us, and he said, all right, here's this $250,000. Now, if he had kept that in the market, his money would have been almost $500,000 today. But he said, I'm going to use this to buy real estate deals and properties. And so he got invested in real estate. To this point, right now, guys, his cash flow is already $3,500 a month. That's over $40,000 a year he's making in just passive income. But even better, guys, the amount of equity that he now has in those properties with that money he used, that $250,000 became about $660,000. So he has more equity, he has a lot more income coming in versus zero from the stock market, and he knows it's backed up by real assets. That's what's awesome. And by the way, we could actually probably sell some of those investments to even increase his cash flow some more, getting it probably about $4,000 or more a month. So now we can start getting him to about $50,000 a year versus about, $40,000 or $45,000 a year, which is where he's at right now. That's the wonderful thing about alternative investments. So is real estate an alternative investment? Yeah. And do you have to buy properties? No. You could be lending your money. You can be doing partnerships. You can go into a equity deal with other people and go buy into like apartment buildings, self-storage units. You can go even into oil and gas or even into businesses like car washes or whatever. There are so many different options in this alternative investment game you could do. But I'll tell you, if you're looking at real estate as an alternative investment, real estate is one of the surest ways over time that's created more millionaires than anywhere else other than your own business. And that's why I trust real estate. And I think that's why you could definitely look at it as a real viable possibility for yourself as well. All right, so if you want to figure out how do I create more passive income, what's possible, what could I actually be doing in this real estate game using alternative investments, go to moneyripples.com, try the passive income calculator, find out how much passive income is really possible in your situation in just the next 12 months or so. Try that out now and see what you get as a number.